So we hit the local top as we predicted last time.
We did. But the question is that we have hit the local top, and I think the market has corrected quite a bit, especially in the AI stocks.
Yeah.
The question that we'll unpack in this podcast is, will the market keep going lower from here, or will it revert back and go to all time highs? And we'll see the Santa rally that everybody has been waiting for.
Yeah, and we'll discuss some factors which may, change the Santa rally if it comes. So let's see.
Yeah, I mean, will 2026 be a bearish year after all that everybody has been predicting along with Michael Burry? Let's unpack in this podcast. Awesome. So, the first important thing that has happened over the past 2 weeks is that NVIDIA and Broadcom, amongst other AI players, have reported their earnings. And Broadcom, I think, fell around 11%, after reporting earnings, and Nvidia has been falling quite a bit. I think it has come down from 211 to about 175, $180 right now. So that's quite a bit fall for Nvidia as well. The question is, why this fall? Right? Has the market suddenly lost its faith in the AI boom? And do they finally think it's AI bubble? And or do we think that the market will revert from here? So what do you think, Rodya?
I think a lot of people have this at the back of their mind. So even if it is not an AI bubble, actual AI bubble, because a lot of people, a lot of investors are thinking this way, I think it's like a prophecy that is just coming true because everyone believes in it. So
Yeah.
I mean, what else can explain that, Broadcom, Nvidia beat their estimates and still went down, right after the earnings.
Yeah. I mean, primarily, so I was just looking at some of the bearish theories, right, which has led to a lot of these companies correcting a bit, right? Almost all the Mag 7 companies and some of the other picks and shovels plays as well. So primarily, I've been thinking about it. One of the major leaders of AI, especially at least as a company that has been leading, has been OpenAI, right? And that is where all of the doubts have started, right?
True.
Whether OpenAI can get all of the revenues to make sure it can, pay through all of the investments that it has promised. That's
Yeah.
the first question that everybody has doubts on. The second thing is that one of the biggest hyperscalers, Oracle, has a backlog of more than $400 billion now, which again people are doubting that will they be able to build data centers worth $400 billion for their customers to pay them $400 billion. Apart from this, I think the third concern is that all of these companies are almost at a really high p level with respect to their averages, right? If you take Google for example, Microsoft, it is a really good multiple, etc. So that's the third concern. Broadcom for example is almost at 100 forward pe, right? So I think these are all the concerns. The fourth thing I think, which is actually more real than the other three, is that people have actually been taking profits,
That's true.
right? And the market has been booking profits. uh, so primarily, let's just break it down one by one. And there are some other concerns also, people saying that now all of these hyperscalers like Google and Microsoft and Amazon are building their own chips, and they might not be needing chips from Nvidia anymore, and etc. So this economy that has been built around everybody spending too much, if that number goes down, then suddenly we have a very different picture, right? So the first thing I want to address my perspective on OpenAI and Oracle is that here I kind of agree with the market. I think in our previous podcast also I have refrained from saying that I personally have not put any dollar in Oracle, right? I would not recommend anybody to. And I just feel that maybe they'll be able to meet all their obligations, maybe not. But I just feel like basically there's a saying in the market, Oracle being primarily in the database market where they started. People say that Oracle doesn't have customers; it has prisoners.
Yeah.
So I just feel that the company is not winning by having great products, right? and their AI strategy is also not because of a core product that they have. Basically, they're taking NVIDIA chips, putting it on their servers, and selling it to their other companies on a very low margin as a cloud provider, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a very that's an awesome business model, right? Whereas if you see Google and Microsoft and others, for example, they have a lot of value added services around cloud, rather than just the moat being that, hey, we can give you NVIDIA chips, right?
Would
So
you would you compare it to like something like Salesforce, that it's old, archaic, but people are like continuing using it because they're too used to it?
I mean, I think so. The people that I have talked to and in their companies, people who use Oracle, they fundamentally believe that, like, there's so much legacy tech that has already been built around Oracle that it's very difficult for those companies for to move out of, right? A very good strategy for Oracle, but that tells you that maybe the next leg of customers or the next leg of growth might not be as easy as people are thinking,
Yeah.
right? So fundamentally I still believe that and yes, coming to OpenAI, I feel that they were once very clear, a company that had the leading model in almost all segments, which is not the case now. Now we know for sure that Claude has the best coding model. Google has the best generally intelligent model, right? Which can have a their Nano Banana Pro is a great image model. Their VO3 is a great video model, etc., etc. Right? So OpenAI has now lost its leadership position, right? So hence the market is thinking, can they fulfill all these obligations that they have? So here I agree with the market, and I think that's the broader thing here. So what do you have to say on the first OpenAI Oracle fiasco?
I think I would like to bring in like Google and Nvidia into it as well. Like
Mhm.
Google, I think, is just aiming to eat everybody else's lunch, be it in making chips to replace Nvidia, or like replacing OpenAI models, like being better than them. So
Yes.
yeah, like I have totally shifted from ChatGPT to Gemini now.
Yeah, me too.
Claude, I haven't really ended up buying because like haven't done long form in some time now. So, but yeah, apart from long form, I think GPT, as in sorry, Gemini is the go-to AI for me.
Right. So here also the other thing to look at is Google. I think one thing I would like to remind everybody is that I'm not sure which podcast number it was, but maybe 3 or 4 podcasts ago, we were pounding the table on Google, right? We had, I think, at least 2 podcasts where we have spoken for at least 15 minutes and bored our viewers on the fact that you should definitely buy Google, right?
Nobody,
When the P ratio was Google, of the forward PUs were around 21, 22, and we were telling that the numbers just don't make sense. And right now Google is, I would say, fairly valued. They have around 30 P. So and the stock has gone up almost 100% from the time that we were speaking of Google. So I think that's a well-deserved market. My commentary on the OpenAI and Oracle is that these two companies definitely are really big players. OpenAI not being a public company, and Oracle, I would say, is not even one of the top 3 hyperscalers.
definitely
I
not.
feel that if they bungle up, right, which maybe right now when I'm looking at it, they most likely will, I feel that the market will definitely correct, and it will be a very, very decent correction, right? It could be, upwards of 10% as well. But I still feel that, they are not drivers of AI, right? Like, for example, it's not uh, like, for example, in autonomous vehicle, if you say that Google and Tesla are leaders, and if they bungle up, right, or if they suddenly have start having accidents, and they start getting banned in states, you can suddenly see that the autonomous vehicle industry is pushed back by 2 to 3 years, right? Here I don't see OpenAI and Oracle, even if they bungle up, I think the AI boom will still continue, because there are a lot of other players, and it's good for the market and good for consumers as well that everybody's risk is more diversified,
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So that's my take on this, and I think that's one of the primary reasons for this correction.
Right.
Coming to the second aspect of valuations, right? So here I would want to say that the mag 7 I would still say is maybe slightly overvalued right now, right? People could argue that Google at 30 is maybe overvalued, and I don't know why Apple still trades at 40p, but whatever. uh, and Broadcom's trading at 100p. People can argue a lot of these things are definitely uh, overvalued, but I don't think the correction has happened because of overvaluation. Especially for Broadcom, in their earnings call, their CEO just maybe, I don't know for what reason, but he did not give a very assured guidance. And people are predicting that one of the reasons could be that these hyperscalers also want to bring in manufacturing in house. Like for example, we all know what happened with Apple and Intel, right? Apple used to get their chips manufactured by Intel for the longest time, and then they moved to their M1 silicon chips, and now Apple manufactures rather designs and gets it manufactured by TSMC. But basicallyApple has brought it in house now, right? And people are now saying that a lot of these customers who are giving their business to Broadcom, let's say, might bring it in house because they are like, I don't want to give you the 50% margin on this.
Yeah,
So this theory has, I think, led to a correction, but I don't think it's as easy to just start manufacturing chips tomorrow.
that's true.
So
It would take some time, and like I was even reading that some of the hedge funds, what they've started doing is they started going to defensive stocks,
right,
like clothing brands, then supermarkets, Costco, and stuff. So
yes,
I think that shift has started happening where the AI is not the only and the most obvious
mm.
play anymore. I feel the narrative has started shifting. So let's see how it goes. Next year. I'll quickly share the TA
Mhm.
which I'd shared earlier as well.
Yeah,
Able to see trading view.
yes, now I can.
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, S&P 500, it is still in that channel which we took from the
Yeah,
COVID lows. It is still in that channel, and then there are a couple more trend lines. And if you see, like, even if the Santa rally comes, I think, there's not too much of an upside if we end up staying in this channel.
right.
So for now, I have kind of taken my pedal off S&P 500 and like the stock market in general. I have personally shifted, like parked my money in metals right now. So
Okay,
gold, silver, and a bit of palladium. So technically, they were looking not as weak as I would say S&P or AIE stocks. So
right.
yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'll need to keep a close eye as well. Let's see, big
Yeah,
amount. So
yeah.
let's
Basically,
see
I
how it
I
goes.
I am taking a stance of being more cautious. I have not pulled out any money. Obviously, my portfolio is also corrected a bit because all of the stocks have.
Yeah,
So, but I'm going to be a buyer in this market, Bhaiya. I still feel that we might still see some more correction. If we don't have a really bullish news, like one of the bullish news I think that happened, and I think you had a counterpoint to that as well. But one of the recent things that happened is that, see, broadly how I think is that Nvidia is like a very key pillar for this AI boom,
yeah,
right? Because if they keep selling more chips, it reinforces everybody's assumptions that people are only buying more chips is because there is more
demand.
demand for it, or there's more need for it, right?
True.
they the hyperscalers still feel that there is enough ROI for me to spend. And at least from what all of the hyperscalers have said, they have shown at absolutely no intention of scaling down their investments, at least in 2026, right?
Yeah,
Will it happen in 2028? Maybe, right? Maybe Meta will not spend $60 billion a year, and maybe they'll pull it down to 30 billion, maybe, I don't know. But they have not said any statement till now that shows that they're gonna pull it back. That's point one. Two, I think Nvidia is still to still set to scale their Blackwell chips, and they're still set to launch Vera Rubin, I think is their next generation chip's name, in 2026 or 20, early 2027, whatever. But primarily, I think when these two chips come in the market, I think the primary economics that we had also discussed in the past is that all of the hyperscalers will have to definitely buy it, considering they cannot get more electricity because that's already a constraint. uh, if they just remove the current H200 chips and put a Blackwell there, which is not going to be as easy, but let's just hypothetically think about it, then their number of tokens, will increase substantially. And for them, the business is tokens. Google makes money when people use tokens on their cloud service, right? So I think that second hypothesis is still true. And yeah, I think here you had a news from China.
Yeah, so uh, the AIs are David Sachs. He's saying that China is rejecting US made chips, basically NVIDIA chips. So that is one threat, one big threat that I see, for NVIDIA. And since this whole AI rally was like happened on the shoulders of NVIDIA, I think this is like a huge setback to them. And even if not now, suppose it takes like 1 year for this to happen,
Right.
that you know the market is always forward looking. So even if the market might think that okay, after 1 year the supply of chips to China would substantially reduce,
Hmm.
so it might just want to price down Nvidia because of such news. So this was one news. And then apart from that, obviously Michael Burry and a lot of other people have raised concern that the life of chips, of AI chips,
Hmm.
Nvidia chips and stuff, most of the companies have been using like 5 to 7 years as the lifetime of that chip, that
Right.
it will last 5 to 7 years. But some people are raising the concern that the actual life is just 2 years, and sometimes if the cooling is not proper, the chips just burn away, and the, during those times it may not even be 2 years.
Hmm.
So obviously Michael Burry is a big proponent of that. He's like hell bent on this, even though he had to close his hedge fund. But yeah, he still is hell bent that okay, AI bubble is there, and this thing will bring like a huge crash. But on the other side, I also came up across this article where they have claimed that these arguments are wrong about the
Yeah.
lifetime of the chips. So they're saying that they talk to a lot of industry folks who are actually using these chips.
Right.
So they're saying, like, let's say even if a new chip comes, but then they might not be required for everyone. The older, slower GPUs would still remain useful, for like smaller jobs, like simpler tasks and stuff. So it won't end up becoming useless after 2 years of use, even if new models come or something of that sort. Plus, like they won't get spoiled in let's say 2 years time.
Right.
So yeah, we'll I think post the links in the description of these articles, and you guys can go through it in more detail.
Yeah. My counter argument to these things. So the first thing, right, like the China rejecting Nvidia chips, right? My
Yeah.
counter argument is that if you see Nvidia's earnings call, Nvidia has projected for $500 billion in revenue. I think for next 2 3 years or something like that, right? And that's one of the core hypothesis of all of the bulls, saying that if you just account for that, then Nvidia is trading at a really low multiple right now, which is at a forward P or of around 25 26
Yeah.
for Nvidia, right? Of In this $500 billion, Nvidia has not accounted for a single dollar from China,
Okay.
right? So basically, today, anyways, US has export restrictions on Nvidia, right? They cannot ship anything to China,
Yeah.
right? uh, Tomorrow, if it opens up, which we are all hearing the news of, that Trump might open it up and Trump might take 25% commission. I'm saying, even if they sell one single chip, that's that's like brownie points on top of this 500 billion, right? Even if they sell chips worth 1 billion, that's on top of this 500 billion, right? Because this 500 billion they've already projected, except China,
Yeah.
right? So I'm saying this, China has rejected Nvidia chips, does not matter,
Okay.
right? The other theory of how it might matter is that the only the or rather the bigger problem here is that if Huawei, a Chinese company, develops a competitor chip, then I think that's a bigger problem for Nvidia and AMD, because it's not about China rejecting the Nvidia chips. It's about, if they're rejecting Nvidia chips, then what are they actually using? Because they need to use some of the other GPUs, right? If they're not using it from Nvidia, then they have to use it from somebody else, and it probably will be Huawei, because they have the backing of the Chinese government.
Yeah, plus I guess they're the front runners for all the Chinese companies in developing chips. They've
Yeah,
already developed like a lower level chip.
yeah. So Huawei, I mean, based on at least what I have heard, that Huawei's latest chips is at least two generations behind Nvidia, but they might catch up again. I feel that with this rate, it might happen in 2027, 2028, maybe, but I don't see that as a concern in 2026 again.
But
So
you can never write off China, I would say, because like the way they have done for LLM models, right? They've
yeah,
come neck to neck with the US based
true.
models. So you can never
That is
write
true. I
China
mean,
off.
yeah, I mean, the point here being that the logic obviously can be that you don't bet against China. I also feel that in the long run, they will definitely solve this problem of making this chip. I'm only arguing for the fact that I don't see that as a problem for the next 2 3 years, right? And that's the core hypothesis of my bull run. The second point that we were talking about is, sorry, what was the second point? I forgot.
The life of the
The
chips.
life of, yes, yeah. I think you already said that, right? I've heard the same industry people. I think there's this guy Devesh or something like that. He's like a consultant for all of these hyperscalers. He was saying in one of the podcasts where he said that. Uh, like for example, CoreWeave is one of the biggest data center plays in the US. They still have Nvidia's previous chips, A200s or something like that, and those chips are still being 100% utilized, right? They have still not reported anything on the shelf that's not being used. So I think that debunks the idea of the life cycle or the depreciation cycle of a Nvidia chip cannot be 5 years, because the market suggests otherwise. So I think those are two counterpoints to these things. And as I said, I think because of valuations, because of profit taking, because of the short term bearish news, I think the market can still correct in the short term. But I think we should be buyers in this, and 2026 will see the bull run continue.
Yeah, hopefully, because I'm sure like the quantitative easing has started. So
Oh, yes,
hopefully,
that's a very good point. That's a very good point. I think people were initially saying that the Fed might not cut interest rate in December, and they finally did. And the other fact that we know, that in May, Jerome Powell is going to go out, and whoever
he'll
Trump
start
places
it.
in will be a super, 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 super dovish guy.
Yeah, so
And I think we're going to see a lot of cuts in
yeah, for
2026.
sure, it might raise the inflation, but I think the markets will definitely do well, and
Yeah.
that's what is Trump is kind of aiming for before the midterm elections. So
Yes.
yeah, that should work in the favor of the market.
Yeah. So that's one more thing I think can work for the bull run, and might help it to continue.
Yeah, the first half I'm still unsure, but yeah, I'll keep a closer eye on the charts and base more of my investment or swing trades based on that. But yeah, for the second part of 2026, I'm super bullish as well.
Right.
So let's move on to the next one.
Yes. So yeah, I think one of the other bearish things that have happened and might continue is the Japan carry trade. So why don't you tell us about it, Radhya?
Yeah, so it's very interesting that we are seeing this happen at this time when the AI seems to be in a bubble. The AI market seems to be in a bubble,
Hmm.
or again, the important point being seems to be. So yeah, let's see. So what was happening in Japan is that Japan had zero or close to zero interest rates. So what a lot of investors used to do is they used to borrow money from Japan
Hmm.
and then invest it in US markets. So Japanese companies and people and probably the government also have like billions and trillions of dollars parked into US equities.
Hmm.
What is happening is that the Bank of Japan most probably, most likely on 18th or and 19th December is going to increase their rate, and it will be like the highest level since 30 years. So in 30 years it's going to be the highest rate, and what is going to happen is that US markets would not be as attractive given the risk reward ratio
Right.
for a lot of Japanese investors, and they will start pulling money out of the US markets and putting like purchasing government backed bonds from Japan itself, because the rate would be, I think, more than 3% now.
Okay.
So this is going to be like a huge factor, which could turn bearish very fast if people actually start withdrawing money from the Japanese markets. So this is something we need to keep a close eye on.
Has
I
the
Yeah, yeah.
has the Japan government given any insights into that? What is the level at which they are looking to, or till what level they are looking to raise the interest?
I am not
Like where would
sure.
they stop?
I'm not sure how far they would go, but
Okay.
like they're like the odds on Polymarket and stuff are just saying that it is going to happen for sure this week.
Okay.
So we'll keep a
Yeah,
close
this
eye
will
on
be
it.
bearish for the general market. I mean, for basically the whole theory is that there's a lot of money that, as you said, flows from people kind of borrow it from China and then invest in it in US.
Japan. Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, from Japan, and invested in US, and that math wouldn't work anymore if the interest rates
yeah.
in Japan increase.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
a few decades ago, the rates were even negative. So, like, if you're borrowing money from the government, they were
yeah,
basically giving you some extra money. So
yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, I wish when we'll have that in India, but yeah, let's see.
Cool. Then I'll quickly share one more thing that
Mhm.
I was looking into. So, uh, humanoid robots.
Yes.
So this is something I am very excited about for investing and like for the future as well. So this report was shared by this Twitter user
Hmm.
whom we've been following since some time.
Hmm.
So this is from March, but yeah, like it has some details about why they think that this would become like a huge market. They've covered a lot of the companies like Boston Dynamics and stuff that are working in this space,
Right.
and this is the company I'm looking to invest in very soon, which is called UBTech
UBTech.
Robotics.
Hmm.
It's valued at around 7 billion US dollars right now,
Hmm.
and yeah, I will share the link of this report for sure, because this is something that could give multi-bagger returns in the coming years.
Right. Are they the
And
leaders right now in this space?
the thing is, in March, they like UBTech, I would say, had like much less competition, but in the
Hmm.
last 6 months or so, a lot of new companies have emerged and have even done IPOs. So the moat for UBTech has started to reduce, I would say.
Hmm.
So a very recent news that like UBTech Robotics will start deploying humanoid robots at China-Vietnam border. So
Wow.
it's a $37 million deal, and yeah, I think this news is like huge, and it's like a seal on that whole concept that humanoid robots are coming. This is probably for security, for manning the border, but yeah, like I think in the next 5 years we'll start seeing humanoid robots
Yeah.
as domestic servants and stuff. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah. I think that's a
So
very
yeah,
important reason, why Tesla also has a, crazy multiple on its stock because, I mean, apart from their current sales of the cars, which is not so great right now, and then margins have also fallen, people are really betting on the fact that they'll crack robotaxi and the humanoid aspect.
true, true, true. So yeah, this report is pretty detailed. So they've
Mm.
given a lot of robots.
Yeah, we see Optimus.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely take a look at this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we should all look into this deeper and probably invest early
Yeah,
before more news like this comes out.
right,
So yeah, I did a bit of technical, bit of fundamental analysis as well using Perplexity.
right.
Again, it's not a profitable company, but yeah, I would definitely suggest you guys to look into it. And what I've done is I have started using ICICI Direct so that I'm able to invest in markets other than India and the US. So let's say if you want to invest in a company that is listed in Hong Kong, or let's say on the Japanese stock exchange. So for that, ICICI Direct has a partnership with Interactive Brokers.
Right.
So yeah, it comes in handy. I had purchased Metaplanet earlier as well, and yeah, sadly did not sell it when it had doubled, and then yeah, it kind of fell off. But yeah,
Yeah, they have all those
didn't sell
stories.
it in loss, thankfully.
Yeah. So I think that's a good point where that you raise that brings this thought that I just want to briefly cover is that from the first podcast we've been speaking the fact that why is it very important for Indian customers to have exposure to US markets
Yeah,
is not only because some of the world's best companies, especially in the AI race, are in the US, right? And you would want exposure to them. The second thing is that how rupee has been depreciating recently against the dollar. Now we have hit 90. I think that's another important reason.
for sure.
So just all in all, I think now it has become even more evident that
Yeah,
people should have exposure to the US markets as well.
for sure, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Then I think this is another great podcast where I think let's see where this AI bubble or the boom will lead us.
Yeah,
I'm
if
still
this,
on the bullish side. Let's see.
yeah, let's see if the Santa rally comes, and yeah, we'll keep a close eye on the Japan
Yeah,
interest rates as well. So,
yeah. Waiting for the Senate to come home.
so
Okay,
then see you.
cool. See you
Thank
next
you.
episode. Bye.
Bye.